Today, we will be looking at Adolf Hitler, a man who once put Germany under the dictatorship of the Nazi Party and was a dictator and supreme leader of the party. Hitler, who became the leader of Germany, had successfully rebuilt the German economy that was going downhill at the time, but at the same time is famous for leading the Holocaust, where a country-led mass slaughter of the Jews took place. Furthermore, although he had caused the Second World War, he eventually realized his defeat and commits suicide by poisoning with his beloved wife. Let's take a look into the life of this man, Adolf Hitler. April 20th, 1898. Adolf Hitler was born as the fourth child of 6 children in the Austro-Hungary Empire. His father Alois being a senior clerk, Hitler was raised in a wealthy family. However, Alois was very violent and Hitler would show a strong repulsive attitude towards that. Furthermore, after all his siblings except his younger sister passed away, Hitler became the only boy in the family, and Alois's interference with Hitler got stronger. Hitler would become rebellious not only at home, but also at school, where he once was an honor student. When Hitler was 14 years old, Alois passed away due to a stroke. However, Hitler's rebellious attitude toward his teacher did not change. On the other hand, Hitler had a good relationship with his mother Clara, and she was his great sympathizer. Amongst all this, 18-year-old Hitler, who was aiming to be an artist, moved to Vienna with the inheritance from his lost father and took the exam for Academy of Fine Arts Vienna. However, he failed the exam. Also, Hitler hated figure paintings and instead preferred architects. He later dreamt of being an architect, but quit due to issues in his educational background. And then in the same year, when his mother Clara gets a life expectancy sentence, Hitler returned home temporarily and dedicated himself to long-term care for his mother. Unable to leave his struggling mother's side, Hitler placed a chair next to the bed and slept on it at night. However, his mother passed away soon after. The doctor in charge at that time had recalled that he had never seen a man that depressed as was Hitler. Thereafter, Hitler made a living through his parents' inheritance and by selling paintings. Amongst this, in August 1913, Hitler aged 24. The outbreak of the First World War occurs. Hitler also participates and plays an active role, such as receiving 6 medals. However, while he was hospitalized due to temporary blindness from poisonous gas, he heard the news of Germany's defeat and the end of the war at the hospital. Hitler then began working at a national investigative agency examining the ideology of politicians. At the German Workers' Party rally that was infiltrated during the investigation, Hitler had a fierce dispute with a university professor. Hitler became the 55th member of the German Workers' Party after impressing a founding member of the party, Drexler, with his controversial discussion. However, at the time, the German Workers' Party was a new, weak party. Meanwhile, Hitler, who had been demonstrating his talent for speech since then, gradually became a central figure in the party. He was active in promotion, where he distributed a large amount of red villas, a symbol of socialism. When he established an admission fee at the speech hall, the party started to grow bigger and bigger. Meanwhile, Hitler confronted the party chairman, Karl Harrer. Harrer was also an executive of the right-wing organization, Thule Society, thus the party was under the influence of the society. Hitler, who aimed for complete independence, colluded with the party members, and when he dismissed Harrer, he took the chair. The name of the party was National Socialist German Workers' Party, also known as the Nazis. After that, the Nazis continued to grow in great speed. In a speech that spread the name of Hitler and the party, Hitler thought that people were unwise, and thus set a simple slogan with an emphasis on comprehensibility. Along with his talent in speech, Hitler also realized the importance of the impact of gestures, and showed great efforts such as practicing repeatedly in front of a mirror. In addition, Hitler was particular about acoustics. The acoustic technology that had been developed then to better hear sounds even in a large venue has great influence in concerts performed even today. In addition, Hitler deeply calculated his speech tactics, such as performing speeches at dusk when everyone was exhausted after work. At that time, Germany's defeat of World War I claimed a large amount of compensation. When the government failed in its response policy, the country was flooded with unemployed people, and many were dissatisfied with the government. Under such circumstances, Hitler gained military power by pulling in military executives to the party, causing weapons to circulate, forming an organization called the Sturmabteilung. Under these circumstances, Hitler gradually began to envision a coup by force. However, the assault corps was made up of 3,000 people and did not have enough force to defeat the government. Therefore, Hitler gathered several left-wing organizations in the country and launched the Kampfbund, an organization aimed at coup. In addition, Hitler planned to bring Karl, the dictator of Bavaria of Germany, under his control, but was refused. Then, on November 8, 1923, Hitler assaulted Karl while he was giving a speech at the beer hall, disrupting an audience of 3,000. Threatening Karl, he was made to announce that Bavaria would fully cooperate in the coup. The next day, Hitler and the Kampfband began their march towards Munich, the capital of Bavaria. However, Karl, who was allowed to go out, cancelled his statement and ordered the state to suppress the rebellion. The Federation, which continued to march during the situation, was shot by the ambushed army, and the coup ended unsuccessfully. Soon after, Hitler, arrested as the mastermind, made a speech at court criticizing Bavaria. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for advancing the trial with his high patriotism, but when he was released on parole in just 9 months, the Nazis changed to a policy of seizing power in accordance with the law rather than by force. After participating in the parliamentary elections for the 3rd consecutive year and succeeding in gaining the support of the farmers, who were the majority of Germans at the time, the Nazi Party eventually won 230 seats and grew into the largest faction in the parliament. And then on January 30th, 1933, Hitler was appointed to the position of Chancellor of Germany by the Prime Minister. Hitler then passed the Enabling Act, banning parties other than the Nazis, leaving Germany completely under dictatorship. Hitler then rebuilt the domestic economy and drastically reduced the unemployment rate, but at the same time, many radical ideals emerged. At that time, Germany had signed a treaty to reduce the size of the army due to the defeat of World War I. However, Hitler abandoned this treaty and expanded the army, pushed forward the territorial expansion policy, and, by annexing Austria and neighboring countries, successfully increased the territory. After that, he negotiated with Poland to get the land back, but he was rejected. In response to this, on September 1st, 1931, when a German battleship moored in a Polish waterway and fired at Poland without a declaration of war, Britain and France, which had signed a treaty with Poland, declared war on Germany. World War II, a war involving the whole world, broke out. Then, in 1942, during the war, the Nazis began a mass slaughter of Jews called the Holocaust, killing a total of 6 million Jews. The Jews were originally subject to persecution in the Christian sphere due to their differences in religion, and the momentum accelerated when Hitler, who advocated anti-Semitism, became prime minister. At the time, there were many Jews in Germany who occupied territories. When food shortages due to the war became a problem, Hitler embarked on the extermination of Jews. He pushed a large number of Jews into a facility called concentration camps and forced them to work until death. After that, when a concentration camp dedicated to murder was built, a large number of Jews were killed by more murder-efficient methods, such as poisonous gas, and continued until the end of the war in 1945. Germany occupied Denmark and Norway in quick succession, then defeated France and put many European nations under its control. Then in 1941, as the war continued, Germany broke the treaty with the Soviet Union and launched an attack on the country. The invasion of the Soviet Union was initially advantageous, but was eventually defeated by the Soviet operations, and then Germany continued to lose. The war situation got worse, and when Hitler's assassination was attempted, Hitler became mentally ill with extreme insomnia. Then, on April 23, 1945, Soviet troops rushed into Berlin, the capital of Germany. About a week later, on the 29th, Himmler, the national leader of the Nazi Guards, voluntarily applied for surrender to Britain and the United States. This outrages Hitler. However, realizing that his demise was near, at 2 a.m. on the following day, he held a wedding ceremony with his beloved wife. Then, at 3 a.m., Hitler drank poison with his wife and committed suicide. That was the turbulent life of Adolf Hitler, who dictated Germany and caused another great world war.